Hey, welcome to Joseph's Reserves. I am Joseph, and I save 20% of my income in the form of coins and precious metals. So we're going to take a quick look at what I picked up from this last paycheck. Also, in this video, you'll notice my hand is bandaged up. I had a little bit of an accident and had to go get stitches last night, but that won't stop me from making a video for y'all. So just go ahead and ignore this bandage. It'll be off soon anyway. I've committed to purchasing an American Eagle, a dollar, half dollar, quarter, and dime every 2 weeks. With the rest of my 20% of my income, I purchase any coins that I find interesting or can add to my collection. Today we're going to be taking a look at what I got from my coin shop as well as from Whatnot in the past 2 weeks. Let's go ahead and start with the dollars. So in this bag I have what I got from my coin shop. So you'll get a little bit of a sneak preview as I pull all this out. But I'm mostly excited about this dollar I picked up from him, and you'll see why here in a second. I got a Morgan dollar. It is from 1885. And if you look very closely, the way that the field reflects, even through the toning, it appears as though this is a proof coin. Now, there were only about 900 minted of these 1885 proofs, and I didn't go through and check how many were graded. But even on the reverse, you see the field is reflective and the raised detail is not. I know there are some that get a proof-like grade. So this is either proof-like or an actual proof. I can hold up another one I have that's just in a really good condition. And you can see the fields on this, even though it's in a very good condition, they are not reflective in the same way. They have that cartwheel. And then I can show you one that is definitely cleaned. This is a piece dollar I have that is cleaned. And as you see, it is reflective, but the raised material is also incredibly reflective in the same way. So contrasting that with this one that I have here, you can see that the field is reflective and the raised material is not. I'm highly skeptical that this is actually a proof, but oh wow, if it is, this was a major score. And if it is not, it's definitely proof-like, and the toning on it is just beautiful. Alright, anyway, that is one of the Morgan dollars I picked up these past 2 weeks. This is the one I picked up at my coin shop. In my coin shop, they have a bag of Morgan dollars and piece dollars, and they sell anything in the bag for $32. So you can find gems like this and still end up paying the $32. Absolutely awesome. But I also started getting into purchasing on Whatnot. Whatnot is a live auction site. And from there, I'll put that one there. From there, my wife actually bought this one for me. It's also an 1885 in very good condition. This one is from New Orleans. You see down here right above the D and O, that O right there means it's from New Orleans. So here you can see the shine is not quite the same as the one I was just holding. So the 1885, if it is not a proof, if it's just a proof-like coin or just a regular business strike, that does not add to my date run. But this 1885 from New Orleans definitely does. This one's also in just fantastic condition. You can still see the feathers on the breast of the eagle. And you can still see a lot of details in the hair around Lady Liberty's ear. Just gorgeous. All right, those are the dollars. All right, so we're moving on to half dollars. And this time from my coin shop, I was able to dig through some of his half dollars. And this was one of the earliest years that I was able to find that is part of the date run that I need. It looks like it is a San Francisco 1934. So as you can see, I do have a large preference for the Walking Liberties, but I still don't have the full date run. So we are slowly working on it. Then the one that I got from Whatnot, I actually got this in a giveaway. See, they wrote G7 as their 7th giveaway. Haven't even opened it yet. This one is a Franklin half dollar from Philadelphia. There's no mint mark above the bell. In pretty good condition. A 1955, which is actually the lowest minted Franklin half dollar. But there's still so many that it's not really considered a key date. I guess a better date. Better date, Franklin half dollar. And this one too adds to my date run. All right, let's clean this up now. All right, so looks like we're just going with the quarters next. So quarters have a pretty interesting situation going on as far as my purchase from Whatnot. But from the coin shop, I got this 1951 from Philadelphia. Not super exciting, not a great year, but it does add to my date run. So that is that. Next up, on Whatnot, there was an auction where someone was showing both of these Standing Liberty quarters. And what I found super interesting was this one on the reverse. As you can see, it is so slick, there's no date. However, there's also no stars there underneath the eagle like on this one. So this is called a Type 1 reverse, and this is a Type 2. In 1917, they switched from Type 1 to Type 2, so in 1916 and 17, these are possible. And then in 17 on, until 1930, this Type 2 is what you'll find. So there's no way of me knowing whether or not this is a 16 or 17 because the date is completely worn. But this was a great pickup for the price that I paid. No one else is bidding on it because of how slick this was, so I picked up both of these for $1. Other than that, I did get this reverse proof 2018 silver quarter as another giveaway. So that's pretty awesome. It is graded by NGC as a 69 reverse proof. As a 2018, that's the only year they made reverse proof sets. So that is super, super awesome. Next up, from my Whatnot purchases, I decided to start focusing on the proof coins. So what happened is that the auction I was watching, which is called Coin Cowboys, definitely jump on there. They were selling the entirety of the Eagleback collection of silver proofs. So there are 7 coins in the series, because after 1998, they go into the State Park series. And then all the way until 2019, all those coins are 90% silver. So these proof coins, they came in a clad version and a silver version. So since I noticed they were selling all 7 of these on the same show, I snatched up every single one. They also didn't announce that they were silver, so I don't know if anyone noticed that as they turned the coin over, there was the silver edge, and then some had the clad edge. So I was able to pick up all those for a steal. And I noticed that the 90s coin, when they started making the silver, 92, all fit in the back of this book that holds 88 to 98. So I was able to try to get back all the way to 98. That leaves 2 spots left. I might put a proof eagle reverse to kind of show the eagle in proof there. And then I decided to go farther back into the collection. 1 book before that. And I got the 84. I haven't written in the labels yet, but since the other book stops at, what was it, 88? 84, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so the other book stops at 88. So that's what these holes are going to be. 87, 86, 85, and 84. And then probably a proof reverse here, because there is a clad reverse right here. And I also got a label maker and decided to put the silver clad version of the business strike of this bicentennial. So I have the 3 business strikes next to each other, and then the other book I'm going to show you is going to be where the proofs go. So this other book, I got a completely blank, no dated quarters book, and I went through and tracked out how many proof quarters there were. So they started making proof coins again in 1936, and they stopped again in 1942 or after 1942 because of World War II. They picked it up again in 1950. So obviously all of these are silver, and they continue to be silver until 1964. After that, they had the special mint sets, so not really proofs, but they do look very much like a proof. They had these special mint sets in 65, 66, and 67, and as you can see, I've been also picking those up on the Whatnot show. And the S mint mark, the San Francisco, after 1968 is when they started making them in San Francisco. I started picking up those as well. So as you can see, it continues on until 1983, and the next book picks it up on 1984. And right here you see we're going to have the bicentennial silver and clad. Eventually we will also be including the type 1 and type 2 of the S mint marks on 1979 and 1981. So with just the purchase of 1 book, I've been able to also add proofs to my full quarter collection. That is it for quarters. I know that was a whole bunch for quarters, but to wrap up, it was these. Here it is. These raw quarters with this giveaway reverse proof quarter and everything I just showed you in the book. I'm going to place these right here on my little display. All right, let's go ahead and clean up these quarters and we'll get to dimes. All right, I know compared to everything else, the dimes looks very underwhelming. So at my coin shop, I picked up both a Roosevelt and Mercury dime that I needed in my collection. So this is a 1961, I believe from Philly, yes, and a 1945 from San Francisco. He didn't have a huge selection of the dimes, so that's why I kind of focused on completing out the later years of each collection. And speaking of later years of each collection, I also was able to pick up a few of these 1891 from New Orleans. These are Seated Liberty dimes. This is the last year of the Seated Liberty dimes. This one was in worse condition. I got this one first, and then this one came up, and I just had to upgrade it immediately. So this one we will likely be keeping. I might sell this one or just hold on to it. We'll see. But these are my first Standing Liberty dimes, so that is pretty amazing. In addition to that, I also picked up the first year 1892 Barber dime. Now there's a big black smudge on it, but it's pretty hard to find some in really great condition for that old. So I'll show these side by side. 1891 to 1892, as well as the Mercury dime and the Roosevelt dime. So we got ourselves a little bit of a typeset going on already, just in this one video right here. So that is it for the dimes. I'll go ahead and put these aside as well. And we'll move on to the next one. All right, then we have the American Silver Eagles. So I have a album of the American Silver Eagles for the Type 1 collection. Whoops, that's the wrong one. There we go, the American Silver Eagles. I have an album that goes from 86 all the way to 2021. The only one I'm missing is the 2021 Type 1 reverse. So since he didn't have any of those, I decided to go for some toners this time. Here, let's get some Eagles laid out here. All right, these Eagles I picked them for the toning that they have instead of the actual date that they have. Because like I said, I only need a 2021 with the Type 1 or the new 2025, but he didn't have either of those. So I picked up these two here. What is this? A 1998 and a 2003. I guess I could start working on a secondary date run. But I actually like these toner ones. And he sells these to me at a discount. I think just $1 off the premium because they're toned. Some people don't like the toning, and some people really do like the toning. So if you find the right buyer, you might make out pretty well. Anyway, these are the two that I picked out. And I was going to pick out more because I had a little bit more in my budget at the coin shop. And that's when he broke out these here. We'll get right to these here in a second. But you know what? Before we even do that, I forgot about the mint set that I picked up. So I have a few mint sets. Let's see, we'll take all these out. The oldest one, or I guess the youngest one I have is a 93. This is a souvenir set. So this is pretty cool because it comes with this big copper coin that commemorates Denver. They had the mint sets that came with an extra penny. It was like a Denver commemorative thing. And then these souvenir sets that come with this big chunky copper coin. I believe these came out when they stopped making the dollar coin, so in 82, all the way until they started making the dollar coin again in 1989. So, 82 there was no dollar. 99 there was another dollar, so it would be 98. I believe that's when they made these ones to fill that 6th spot that would have been taken up by $1. Anyway, this is the 1993. And then I have the Special Mint set from 1967 and a Special Mint set from 1965. Then it jumps all the way to 1958. So soon I'll get the 64 and on, but 58. So we have silver, 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 a fantastic looking wheat cent there, and a fantastic looking nickel. That's the case for these two here. I already had these, but I did pick up this 1956 gorgeous Benjamin half dollar, gorgeous Roosevelt dime, gorgeous Washington quarter, and of course the wheat cent and nickel, just looking amazing. So those mint sets are pretty fun. I might put together all the years. That would be pretty interesting. All right, now that that is done, we can talk about these coins that I flashed before you. So these coins are 1/100th of an ounce of gold and 1/200th of an ounce of gold. And since I had all the other collections out to showcase the coins before, I'm just going to pull out all the gold that I have. I had been collecting gold with each purchase and then making some larger purchases of gold when I could. And just recently, when the gold to silver ratio hit 100, I sold a bunch of foreign gold and 90% gold and stuff like that, so that I could purchase a bunch of silver and then later turn it back into 1 full ounce of gold. But anyway, today we're talking about these itty bitty guys. So 1/100th of an ounce of gold is extremely close to the same cost as 1 ounce of silver today. I believe right this second, the gold to silver ratio is somewhere around 100.9 or something like that. So I'm just going to get out an ounce of silver so you can see the size difference. This is 1 ounce. This is 100th of an ounce. Even in this capsule, it's really hard to tell because, it's even way smaller than the size of a dime. But he was willing to sell me these with the premium he normally puts on an American Silver Eagle. So it was spot price plus $5. And then when I told him that at that price I wanted to get all of these, he said, you know what, I'll sell all of those to you for a 5% premium. Guys, these sell for almost twice their spot value. So that was an amazing deal. I just had to go for every single one. So again, this is the 100th of an ounce with an eagle. These are all from Monarch Metals. 4/9's fine with a America flag over the imprint of the country. This is another 100th of an ounce. This one must be incredibly thin because it's a much larger coin. It's almost the size, I want to say it's about the size of a 10th. It looks to be that. So I guess it would be a 10th the thickness. That's just really thin. But really cool design. The more you look at it, the more you see. Super cool, and happy to have it in my collection. And the other 3 are actually 200ths of an ounce. So half of what these coins are. Let's see if I can get much detail in this. I'll just hold one up. Yeah, you can see this beetle with wings. It's like a symbol of Egypt, and these hieroglyphics with the eye. And right on the side here, I think it's this way. On the left-hand side there, you can see the fraction 1/200th of an ounce troy. So these are all marked. I believe on this side it might say fine gold. Maybe that's over here. Oh yeah, right down here on the bottom, 4/9 fine gold. So all three of these coins are the same, the 200th of an ounce. So these three here ends up being 0.035 troy ounces, which is about 1.8 times a 1 gram bar, or I guess just 1.8 grams. And from what I paid, no, it's sorry, it's 1.08 grams, not even close to 2 grams. 1.08 grams of gold, and for what I paid, it was even less than what most people are getting a 1 gram gold bar for. So I'm super happy to have these in my collection. I don't know if I'm going to hold on to them for very long, but there they are. All right. After that, I do have some honorable mentions that I'd like to pick out from my other purchases that have happened these past 2 weeks. And that is these here. I decided to start working on even older coins and a typeset for Canada, Mexico, and the UK. So here we have Mexico. This is a 10% silver coin. This is when they were in the process of taking silver out of their money. They went from their 72%, which they had for a while. Well, they started at sterling silver, 92.5%. They went to 72% for quite a long time in most of the early 1900s. Then they went to 50%, then 30%, and they did this 10% alloy for about a decade on these 1 peso coins. This is the second one I have. I had the first year issue that was 1957, and now this is a 1960. I believe they went until 67 or 63. I'll have to look back into that. So pretty cool. It has 1.6 grams of silver. So not a whole lot of silver in it, but definitely a cool coin. Then here I have some Canadian silver. Again, this is when they were in the process of removing the silver from their currency. The last year that they had silver was 1967. And they usually made theirs in 80%. But these are all 1968. They made some of these coins with 50% silver and some out of clad. But you can hear those are definitely silver. So these are 50% silver. They have just under 1/10 of an ounce of silver in each one. So this is even significantly more silver than this Mexican coin. But it was pretty cool. In the auction, they actually had both of these selling together. So neighbor from the south, neighbor from the north, all being sold in one purchase. I believe I paid $5 for these. Pretty good price. And then these were being sold actually with half goldback Florida Goldbacks, which I got as well. Actually, let me go ahead and pull those out. Here are the half goldback Florida Goldbacks. So these purchases were marketed as silver and gold, which that is what it is. And this one was a Mexico and Canada. So that was pretty fun. I honestly really enjoyed those purchases, and I love adding these to my collection. Then I also got this 6 pence, 1931, with King George V I need to look up how much silver this is, but I want to say this is also 50% silver. Again, when the country was starting to take silver out of its currency. This one's pretty worn. It's super thin. And I'm not sure exactly how much silver is in this. But as I complete my typeset, I'm going to do more research and find out. Other than that, I got a super small 5-cent Canadian silver. Let's see, this one I wrote down. It is sterling silver, just over 1 gram of silver. This is from 1910 with King Edward V. So here's where it says 1910, 5 cents Canada. Super awesome coin. Then I also have 2 half dimes that I picked up. This one was not known to have the error. I found the error once I got it home. This one's obviously 90% silver, and it is a little bit over 1.1 grams of silver. Look at the detail on this thing. A half dime. Half dime, guys. They stopped making these in 1872. Look at that. Just awesome. And I got a secondary one, 1839, so 10 years before this one. Someone wrote AG on it. I think it's even a little less than that. But you can read the date. It is definitely in 1839. $35. No, I paid about $25 for this. $35 here and $30 there. No. Awesome. So these are part of my collection now. So now I have some half dimes, and I will be starting a Canada and Mexico typeset as well as a UK typeset. So go ahead and keep watching for that. Well, this is all the precious metal that I've picked up these past 2 weeks. If you like the video, make sure you give me a thumbs up. If you know anyone that might like some content like this, please share the video. And if you want to see my collection continue to grow, make sure you subscribe and keep watching the videos when I pump them out. But most of all, thanks for watching.